Scotty, how are you?
All good, mate. Day off
man.
today, so well rested.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. Episode 6.
Yep.
We're back again. 45-minute show, one half of football. We're going to stick to it. I've noticed with the live shows, we get a bit carried away. They end up being about an hour and 10 minutes of just barrage.
We do like to talk, mate. We do like to talk.
We like to answer all the questions. Today, no questions, just loads of Chelsea to get stuck into. And I'm sure we're going to have similar opinions, but we may differ on a few things because I've had a moan today on Twitter, which I will talk to you about in a minute. But loads of things to talk about. First and foremost, Plymouth. Where were you? What you were doing? You with the family? Had a good day?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect us to get taken to extra time.
Decent they were, weren't they?
Yeah, they were good side. They were
well organised.
Well organised. I think it's easy to say after the goal went in, but when we gave that free kick away, as I was looking at it from behind the goal, it was scored. Actually, the header came almost straight towards me in the corner. We gave the free kick away, and I turned and said, "You give free kicks away like that, and it doesn't matter what league you're in. Doesn't matter like it's a ball that's coming in the box. I'd fancy myself to win one header.
Yeah, exactly.
We gave a few away, but we did have 41 shots, which I think is probably a record in my whole time of following Chelsea. We just need to work on the training pitch.
I didn't know we had those stats. I mean, you would certainly win a header against Lukaku.
Well, he didn't. He doesn't jump.
He didn't jump then either, did he?
No, he turned his back and the guy just glanced in. I think Plymouth were good. It's a controversial opinion alert, but when we win a game, I always like it's different. It's easy to say now we've won, but seeing a whole away end, the whole shed sway after a goal, particularly when it is a club like Plymouth, there's something special about that.
Oh, the noise was special. This is the thing that people wouldn't get, perhaps who weren't at the ground, who watch from around the world, and that's the beauty, I suppose, and that's why we would say we're lucky to go. That noise, that's FA Cup noise. That's FA Cup underdog noise. Underdog noise is a different noise. I can tell you, when Chelsea used to beat people 2-0 at home and it was a second goal, you'd get muted applause because you'd think it was happening. People would be more worried about their Bovril and their Snickers. That was off the planet. I'm going to kill myself. This is my moment. I'm happier than any day. You could probably ask them at that moment that's up there with their child's birth. That's how they reacted. And it went on like underdog applause. It was so loud, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. And I actually thought we played okay. I'm not going to go as far to say I thought we played well, because we drew a game 1-1 in 90 minutes with a side 2 divisions below us, but I didn't think we played badly. I just think we are. I said it before, and it's very obvious. We miss our wide men so much.
Yeah.
So Alonso played really well. I thought he was arguably best player on the pitch for us, but he doesn't have Chilwell's acceleration over 5-10 yards. So
yeah.
I
actually think I'm going a bit more controversial these days. I'm starting to think the whole wing back thing, I know James will make a difference, but look, championship sides, any kind of championship sides, are never going to lose their marbles. I mean, if Man City lost, Cancelo and Walker, they would find a way. It's the fact of the matter is Chelsea hasn't got enough leaders on the pitch. I mean, this is what I was saying in my video. Like, the whole thing screams of a Declan Rice or a Tchouaméni, but it also screams of someone up top. People always think centre forwards are just goal scorers. Centre forwards lead the line. There's an expression. That spine.
I'm trying to think.
Doesn't lead the line. He's commanding.
I'm trying to think of centre forwards that don't score a great deal but make a big. Giroud. Right, Giroud was never for Chelsea. Giroud was what, a 10 to 15 a season goal scorer.
But he didn't play much.
My God, he made a difference. And I saw it. I watched him play last night. By the way,
there's been loads of them. I mean, to be honest with you, not being funny, different level, but the boy who's gone to Newcastle, the big lump from Burnley, he's not going to score much. He's there to lead a line and cause a nuisance and get people to play off him. That's what football is. Like, I don't understand why people just miss this. Ida Johnson scored 12 Premiership goals in the 04 season. He was arguably player of the season without Frank. He was so integral. All he did all day was get it down, turn over and go, right, I've got Duff on the wing. He runs 100 metres in 10 seconds. And then Robin's basically a train and he just used to release them. And that's all he did. But the reality is this thing's getting annoying now because everyone keeps on going, Ben Chilwell this and Reece James. But they're not here. And the fact of the matter is there's not enough people rolling up the sleeves and there's not enough leaders there. Like, take out Thiago Silva and Rudy. I don't know who the next leader is in that side. Well, Mount.
Yes, I think there's an argument for Jorginho, and there's an argument before you bite my head off.
Man, I'm not.
I'm
angry. I'm angry. I don't know what's happened. I've changed.
I've never ever seen you.
I'm animated. It's because I'm on this Hooligan diet. I'm not eating. I'm angry. And I'm going to tell people. And people are going to start coming for me. And I'm coming for them. Believe you me. I just want this is why I'm on live. I want people to see this. There's no more Mr. Nice Guy.
No.
The one thing that annoys me as well, another thing that really frustrates me, apart from the fact that Plymouth were plucky, well-organised, well-drilled. I have to say, it's unbelievable. You just cannot call Jorginho. He goes off the pitch yesterday and we lose concentration, lose composure. We never kept the ball after he went off. Against Plymouth, the remit was two things. It was basically attack when you can down the left and also get into Jorginho because he was ruffled, wasn't he, at home against Plymouth?
He was. He was. Jorginho, I can't work it out. I'll hold my hands up and say there's been games, there's been several games, particularly a year or two ago, where I thought this guy is not for me. And then I've seen him literally just dictate a football pitch. But it's when he's allowed time on the ball, he's fantastic. When he's pressed, he's not fantastic, and he becomes very gettable. Yeah. And if I'm in the other dressing room, regardless of who we're playing, I don't know much about Palace next week. I'm telling whoever's in the centre of the pitch for Palace, get on his touch.
Well, they'll know that. They'll know that because the funny thing is as well, look, footballers sometimes, some of them in the world, they look like their nationality. Like Silva's never looked any more Brazilian, has he? He glides round. I mean, it's a joke. And if someone had to watch a video and you didn't know football and you had to watch where they're from, but you knew who could play in a certain way, you'd buzz in and go, Brazil. He's from Brazil. I know it is. And Jorginho does that with Italy, doesn't he? He's Italian all day long. Tiki-taka, neat ball, lots of touches. They've made Pirlos and Verrattis. They've been doing it for years. The problem is, in their league, everyone's running at half a yard slower. You got a bit of time and they don't press the ball. And unfortunately, that's why Lukaku scored all those goals.
It is. It's started. Do you know what? It's starting.
Wow, let's just talk about him. You talk about him because I'm too upset at the moment.
He scored. He won the game. He won the game. So there's the stat.
He won what game?
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, but I mean at Plymouth.
At Plymouth. Well, put it this way: you've got a centre half that plays for Plymouth that is quote tweeting like a well-respected football channel, like football thing online, highlighting how much he dominated Romelu Lukaku.
Did he do that?
He quote tweeted it and put that emoji and a laugh face. And it was said Lukaku, like aerial duels 10, lost 10, or it might have been 9. He might have won 1. Wow. And then it was like dribbles completed 0, touches in opposition box like 2, and it's like shots on target 0. And then the centre half from Plymouth quote tweeted it with a laughing emoji. And I just thought, well, that just sums it up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Actually, his performance at Plymouth was it was woeful. It was dreadful. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't got a problem with the manager being told he has to play him. I haven't got a problem with him trying to play him into form. I haven't got a problem with him playing 70 minutes. But as soon as footballers don't impact football matches, they have to change the guard. That's what management is. And I'm sorry, even judging from an unfit Kai Havertz yesterday, look how much more. I mean, even when he gave the ball away, he did so much good in the game, and he scored a cracking goal, but it's link-up play from the left. He was miles better, miles better.
Well, as a football player, as a footballer, Kai Havertz is miles better than 99% of footballers. He's certainly 1,000,000% more technically talented than Lukaku.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But at the same time,
but he's more effective at the minute.
He is, and the more I watch him, before he kind of missed games December time, I fancied him up front.
Well, I do. I still do.
We've talked about it.
Yeah,
football's changed. Football's evolved. The days of Alan Shearer and Les Ferdinand playing as a two with two wingers crossing balls in, gone. That was me. That was me watching football as a kid with Giggs wide and Beckham wide, gone. Now, these days, you get the ball. They're like 5-a-side footballers on an 11-a-side pitch.
Yeah, well, Beckham could only play centre of the park now, couldn't he? Because he wouldn't have that position out wide. Yeah. Because he could do the Ziyech thing, but he's just got not enough trickery and stuff. He would end up playing in a two. In our formation, you'd have to play in the two. And that's how weird football is. I mean, Ryan Giggs plays anywhere because he was just a ridiculous footballer.
Yeah, and he played till he was about 38 or something silly and still won cups, leagues, etc. But football, Lukaku for me, I want to see more from him. I've said on here,
I've said straight away he hasn't got enough heart.
I want to see him angry. I want to see him care. I want to see him I want to see what he did against Arsenal when 16 minutes on his first game, he got the ball rolled into feet. He laid it wide. He battered a centre-half as he ran past him and he scored a goal. And I thought, he's hungry. He wants it. It's the more he plays for us, the less I think he actually the less he seems to want it.
Well, and last night,
you can't. There's no way that any centre-half's going to be quote tweeting like I had him in my pocket.
No, that's ridiculous. That's actually hilarious.
If he wants it, I wouldn't want to play against him, but at the moment...
But heart and passion, it's the same thing I said about Emil, Heskey and other players. You're either that kind of guy or you're not. And at times, he goes into his shell, he starts sulking, and the reality is he's just got no backbone to his performance. It's like he's got no sort of... Like yesterday, we're now moving the goalposts have moved, by the way. They've gone from that £97 million player who has to produce magic. I mean, forget that. Forget that narrative. He has to, the whole Drogba against Tottenham in the cup when he spins and smash it, the whole volleys in the, forget all that. That's out of the loop. We're now going to the point where Nevin's going yesterday. Nice touch there from Lukaku and rolled it off. Green shoots. Green shoots. He's taken a touch on his knee and then rolled it to someone 8 yards away, and that's going to be a green shoot. It's not a green shoot. It's absolutely. He should be shooting. He's just doing my nutting. I actually feel like I don't know what to do about it because I feel really un-Chelsea the way I'm going on, but he's annoying me.
You're allowed to be annoyed at times, but this is it shows that you care. But for me personally,
I do not care about him. That's the problem.
Really?
The wheels are off. Well,
Yeah.
I honestly think. I actually would absolutely. I haven't got any problem if Abramovich, if we get to the end of the year and we've won a couple of cups, God hope we do, and we'll talk about that because we need one or two. We need one or two more. We need the manager to be backed by our chairman. If that's the case, I think you'll get to a stage where TT will be able to go, you're not good enough to play for this side, mate, at the moment, and you're on the bench and keeping it warm because that's what he's done to Werner, isn't it? Everyone doesn't even notice Werner has gone. He can't get into the side for love nor money. He comes in now and again, but when there's injuries and stuff, but when Kai Havertz is, he's ravished by COVID, which he has every other month,
Yep.
When he's back, I mean, Timo just doesn't get near the starting 11, does he?
Oh.
I mean, Mount didn't start yesterday.
No, Mount didn't start, and Mount. I'll always defend Mount. He's Mount will be at the club for the next 10 years, and fingers crossed, he develops, and by his mid to late 20s, he's going to be an unbelievable player. Ziyech, Werner's problem right now, like today, tomorrow, Saturday's game, Palace next week, whatever, is Werner's problem is that Ziyech is coming in and doing the job. And
When he's doing more than the job, I read that he created 11 chances. 11 chances created, like what as they call now, key chances. 11 chances in 4 games. But I actually think he's become a go-to thing. And one thing I would say, if he is happy at Chelsea, he could let his face know it now and again, couldn't he?
I know. Smile. Smile. He's just scored a 25 yards. I know. Matt, he's just smouldering, isn't he? He's all smouldering.
I just think he's cool. No, he's one of those people who thinks he's cool all the time. Just like, yeah, it's cool to show some gnashers. Get your grin going. Turn the frown upside down, fella.
We're all different, aren't we? Like
I actually think I did a video earlier. What I was wanting to say is I don't want moaning. The first thing I said is, look, I don't moan about Chelsea. I'm always supporting Chelsea. I'm always supporting the board. But I have to say I'm slightly concerned with the level of performance. And I spoke to David Branch actually earlier, and he knows his football, doesn't he? Big up to him. He's over there at the moment. Good lad. But I spoke to him, and he was similar. Because it was the concern about the level of performance and how long. If you go back through the fixtures, I really wish I was a professional and I'd done that. But if you take it from, say, Malmo, and then you got a Burnley 1-1, and then you got the Juve and Leicester, and then they were the heights, and then you start going into the realms of absolute carnage, Leeds, and all sorts of crazy. I mean, Leeds was won in the last minute. Watford was a debacle. Man United, we played lovely, but didn't get the job done. Liverpool, we huffed and puffed, but we dropped points at Everton. There's no point winning at Villa if you then drop points at their home to Everton, which is what we did. And we've just dropped points. And it's not the way, I'm not worried about the title. It's just the way we're playing. Mate, so bad on the eye.
Are we? I thought in the first half yesterday, and again, if we're talking about yesterday, like, all right, Al Halil, I don't know a great deal about them.
Neat and tidy, weren't they?
They hadn't lost in 7. I did say that last week.
But who have they not lost to?
I don't know. They're fourth. They're fourth in the Saudi league.
Yeah, they're fourth. They're 13 points off the league. Look, they were neat and tidy. They got nothing wrong.
So are we. We're 13 points.
But it's a different league, a different world. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to get at is the football, the standard, is obviously much different. But the way we're going about football matches, I feel like we're scratching to get wins. We are huffing and puffing to get anything over the line. Plymouth was as an example. Well, that was after a week off, right? We come back and we didn't even look at it. And to be honest with you, but for Kepa being brilliant.
Oh, Kepa.
I mean, he was brilliant yesterday. To be honest with you, let's just quickly touch on this. Kepa will have to play the final.
Yeah, for me, he's earned the right.
Of course he has. It's not a debate. He has to play. At the end of the day, as easy as he can be dropped is as easy as he can come in for me.
I guess it is up for debate in a sense, but in so much as, remember, who was United second? Was it Romero? Romero used to come in for United, do a really good job for De Gea 5 years ago, whenever it was, and did nothing wrong. And the truth is, I guess it is a debate. Mendy's our number 1 goalkeeper. Kepa, 12, 18 months ago, was being mocked by pretty much every football supporter in the country. And the turnaround for him in his performance shouldn't go unnoticed. So whatever they've done, and it shows confidence, getting in someone's head, but the hard work, etc. And that's why I'm not giving up on. I'm more inclined not to give up on Werner being a success, and I know you disagree, than Lukaku, purely because for me, Werner wants it. There's a difference for me between the two. Whether Werner's technically good enough to be a Premier League player, let alone a Chelsea player, it remains to be seen. But Kepa was phenomenal. It was 2 or 3 of the saves last night were
they're world class. One of them in particular is outrageous.
The one from outside the box, the still image of him getting there, and the strength in his improvement. He should be getting a far more credit outside of Chelsea Football Club and supporters than he is.
Yeah. I actually think what happens is I've got a funny.
We've barely mentioned. I've been off today. I haven't sat here all day watching Sky Sports News. I'm not that sad.
No.
But I watched it this morning and I watched it this afternoon.
You watched the Olympics as well instead.
I've been watching the curling.
It's so good. Well, not the curling, but the Olympics. It's just almost better than the Summer Olympics. Anyway, we're digressing.
We're a Jamaican bobsled team away from it being my favourite thing I've ever watched.
Yeah, no, they've got one.
I know.
I don't know how they did.
I can't remember what I was saying.
So you haven't sat there all day. You watched other things.
I've got to mention. I'm thinking back to when Man United were in this under Ferguson, and they played Corinthians. I'm thinking back to when Liverpool were in it. I was seeing coverage. I was seeing goals. I was hearing highlights. I got in the car. Talk Sports on. It's all over that. We haven't got to mention. I'm sat here
to be honest with you, it's on.
Arnold about to break all the assist records apparently, and Liverpool are on for a quadruple. And I'm just like, what?
And also, to be honest with you, it's on the same channel as the Big Bang Theory, isn't it? It's on E4, isn't it?
No, yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. That's like Sky Sports 1 having the top 40 charts. It's just like it just doesn't work. Like it's mental. Like it's almost embarrassing. The worst thing is Channel 4 had a look and they thought it's not for us. We'll palm it over to our poor cousin.
I don't. Well, just do you know what? I've said this for a long time. It just makes me value
undermine something that's very important. But the reality is, it's got Weld and it's got Championship or Club Championship or whatever cup written in it. So people are going, wow, we haven't won it before. And I'm pretty sure Roman, when he sits there and thinks, oh, I really wish we played better football. But actually, if we won that, that's another tick because we won the Champions League last year and we won this year and it's another one. I actually think your question the other day, which for anyone who doesn't follow us on Twitter and is not there, because obviously there's YouTube watchers out there, you posed a question on social media about which is more important. You actually didn't answer it yourself because you're always a good cop-out for asking questions and never taking the heat. So what do you think?
I didn't say which was more important. I said which would you rather win as a Chelsea?
Okay, which one would you rather win?
The League Cup.
Yeah, because you're going.
Well, because I'm going, and because
it's Liverpool.
It's a day out. It's a trophy. The trophy that Mourinho won back in 2005 elevated us onto bigger and better things. I think it's important for the squad to win trophies, cups like that in terms of belief and going on to believe that they're a top side. But at the same time, I guess if you're asking what's the more important from a marketing revenue,
good point. I hadn't thought about that.
PR perspective, Chelsea Football Club, champions of the world, is infinitely more important than Chelsea Football Club won the Carabao Cup. For me personally, I think if we don't win on Saturday, it will be greeted, in my mind, similar to when we play in a charity or community shield. I'm not bothered about winning it. You just don't want to be the team that loses it. And that's
the only thing I would say, interesting, that's a good point because you're quite hot on your media narrative and all that. I would say, interestingly, they will care more if we lose it. Put it that way.
What, the players?
No, the media. Media are going to absolutely have a field day. If Chelsea get there and get played off the park, but in Brazilian fashion, we never touch the ball, we lose 2-0, they will love it. If we win 1-0, it's almost like a centre forward taking a penalty. You're meant to score and you lose it, you're the villain. And that's what it'll be like. It's a pantomime show. It is what it is.
That's their attitude to us, and like we just got to accept that is what it is. It's not.
But that's the great thing about being Chelsea fans, because when it goes against us, when it goes wrong, when people criticise us for this and that and poor fans and buying the league and no history and all the stuff that's all nonsense. The reality is when we do win these things, when we do go battle against people saying these things and we win, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it makes it. Surely it is. It's much better. I love
but
it.
I am worried. I am concerned that, and I said this in my video, I've got a feeling someone, if we're not careful, someone's going to come and give us a dressing down soon. And I do. It's in. Can you not see it? I can sense the tension on that pitch. There was a time against Plymouth. This is, and all the people who don't know this, I have never been in a situation where I could hear all the players. And against Plymouth, when the fans finally died down, when they literally had run out of oxygen and gas, they had a pie and a beer at half time and it was sort of steady. They had literally thought, you know what, I can't scream anymore. Let's just chill for 10. There was 10 minutes where the crowd was so flat, so quiet, so concerned. I could hear people on the pitch because I'm quite close to it, as you know. I could hear him. I could hear them talking. I could hear Plymouth a lot, actually, to be honest. I could hear them shouting. I could hear them being vocal. I could hear Dave and I could hear Jorginho and I could hear that was about it. But my point I'm making is the Stamford Bridge faithful at times are more concerned than they ever be. And I know we love TT, but I've got to put it out there. Look, if he went on to win both these finals, all good. He went on to lose both of them. The heat is on again, I think. I don't want to talk negative, but we're not playing very well.
See, I don't.
Do you think we're playing? Would you say? What would you honestly, in terms of spectacle and watching something? Because you know football.
Yep.
Are you honestly saying that Chelsea, when you go and watch them, you're feeling like they're pulling towards the same goal, all 11 people on that pitch?
What? I've normally had a drink.
No, good point. That's why I'm saying this.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I just think it's not.
Okay, well then that's.
I just think it's not
wrong.
Right. In the final third of the pitch, we're too predictable, and we're too predictable because we don't particularly have a turn of pace. We don't have somebody that's a bit of a maverick that can go either way. So Eden Hazard could go either way. He literally would do that with his shoulder. Not that. I'm too tall and too labouring. He'd drop his shoulder and a defender would move and he'd gone. He could go that way or that way and he'd gone. Kai Havertz will always go on his left side. Timo Werner will always try and run on the outside. Callum Hudson-Odoi will try and come in on his right foot and bend a shot a la Chesterfield, or go round a man like he did to the Tottenham guy and got flattened, and like he did at Plymouth and he actually got run out of play. We're so predictable. Ziyech will always come onto his left side. So he's relying on an overlapping run. So the defender's not quite sure what we're so predictable around the 18-yard box. That's our issue. Our issue, technically, those players, Havertz, Jorginho, Kovacic, Mount, Ziyech, what a five-a-side team that would be. Do you know what I mean? Like, unbelievably gifted. But what we don't have is a turn of pace. And if you don't have a turn of pace, an ability to run with the ball at pace, and I think that the best player we've got on our side at the moment, yesterday, was Kovacic. The goal was made from a 50-yard run, full pace, touch, 10 yards, touch, 10 yards, touch, 10 yards. Other than Ziyech and to a degree Mount, who looks like they're comfortable dribbling with a football at pace? Werner, definitely not. Havertz, yes, he glides, but he's very one-sided.
Yeah.
Lukaku's second touch is usually a block tackle because his first touch is so bad. That's our issue. I think we need a tidy centre forward, a good Johnson. We need a centre forward with that and a touch, a Berbatov. That for me, that's what. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's playing.
I think it's Kai Havertz. I
Well,
think at the moment, honestly, I don't know why. I think he gets bigger, he gets more ballooned, he gets stronger, he turns into it, he gets more barrel chested, he does more weights. Another year down the road, he's going to look like a big bulky winger out. He's not going to be thin as no one,
he is. He's
no.
very gaunt, by the way. I had
He's
the
very thin, but you look at a young. Honestly, when you finish, go and look at a young Harry Kane at 22, and now look at him. Like Harry Kane looked like a greyhound. He was a whippet.
I used to watch him. He played for Orient, Leighton Orient, in my local club, and
Yeah.
we used to go and watch. Me and my pals.
Yeah, and there was nothing on it. But look, the reality I'm getting at is, look, I don't mind, but my concern isn't that I think that Chelsea are, this isn't me thinking we're entitled to the league or anything stupid. It's just, as a punter and a paying punter at that, I find that the football I'm watching now has become less and less appealing. No, I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's very good. And don't get me wrong, it's not sorry bad or anything like that. And I love TT, and it's not a manager dig, something like that. It's just, I think that confidence is either so low in certain personnel, or there's certain people feeling a little bit a bit annoyed with the responsibilities they have on the pitch to either track back and make the game a more sort of tighter affair. So 0-0, you'd still get something out of it. It feels like that. But every time we do one of two things, we either play 5 at the back and then we don't look like we've got much going forward, or we sacrifice someone, play in a 4, and then the two in the midfield just get absolutely run over.
Yeah, they get overrun.
And I think the biggest thing that shows out for me is how important Kante is to Chelsea Football Club, and he can't play 30 games anymore. That's the problem.
No, and it's like football. Listen, I struggled today to get on a rowing machine and do 5 minutes. Life changes, like your body changes. Kante is.
He's worked a lot, Kante, as well. Let's go. I still think he'll play the big games, but I'm just looking at Chelsea at the moment. I suddenly realised I was privileged enough the other day. Actually, it was on TV. You would have probably been here, but you've probably been there. But the 2006 Man United Chelsea game at home, when Joe Cole scores that wonderful goal and says, "See you later, Rio." And we win the title and the sun's out. It's one of the last ever games, actually, sadly, that I went with my dad, because for a number of reasons. But it was just an amazing day. But I was privileged to watch the first 35 minutes the other day. So I thought, do you know what? I'll be a real nerd and I'll watch it and I'll have a little look at this and I'll watch it from a sheer sort of football perspective. Right. First and foremost.
Yep.
I mean, electric, Robin. Played well in that game, but he was so quick. And Joe Cole, they're very good at spreading the pitch. They obviously play 4-3-3, but they spread the pitch. They got him behind and they drove at people. Yep. One thing that stood out a mile was just the energy, the desire from Didier Drogba was, it was unbelievable. I didn't even realize when I was watching it back then, but he was getting fouled, he was winning, he was earning, he was getting free kicks, he was getting throw-ins. Pain in the arse, he was. He's
a phenomenal player. In the Drogba year 1 was a competent player who spent a lot of time on the deck and actually he toughened up and he was a phenomenal player, like a generational player for Chelsea. Lukaku is.
But that's what got me thinking. It got me thinking. So Essien reminded me, not the same player, but Essien was playing in a progressive power running. He'd win a bit more, but he had the Kovacic's about. He's not as gifted on the ball, really, but he was more of a driving runner. And the Kovacic can do that role. You had Makelele when you could see, you would obviously hope that a Kante or Jorginho, not the same, Makelele was a thing. But then that's why I wonder in a 4, I like Mount in there for some reason in that 3. In this new system, if he can't get a gap, get him in the side there.
But you know what? I've got a lot of time for 4-3-3. I think
I loved it.
Football's cyclical. Things change. Coaching changes. Academy change. 4-3-3 will be back at some point. And actually, I watch Chelsea now, like this season, and I think, why don't we play that way?
We've had a go a couple of times to some success because Sarr's been okay and done a job. In fact, he's been quite a good news story, Sarr, really, isn't he? With Trevor back as well. I I actually think, look, it was just an observation that I thought Mason Mount, potentially, if he wanted to stick with Kai Havertz, because he suddenly started, if you want to stick with Havertz and Ziyech and Lukaku, I was thinking, hold on a minute, is Mason Mount going to be the victim here? Is he the one who's going to be frozen out at this stage? I might be wrong, but I'm wondering again, if let's get Mount along the free. I would play if I had everyone fit, honestly, and this no one would agree, but I don't care. I would play Sarr. All this nonsense about Thiago Silva can't play in a two. Thiago Silva could play on his own. I mean, it's ridiculous. He never had any legs anyway. Silva, Rudy, and to be honest, with right back, obviously James. Yeah, if he's fit. James has got the powerful running to still do a job from fullback. I mean, Dan Petresco did it from fullback when we had 4, and he was an athlete. He wasn't even an athlete like James. Then I would go Reece. Reece James right back. Then I honestly would go Kante, Kov, and I would go Mount. And then if you have to play that lump up front, which I wouldn't, I would play Kai Havertz.
Yes. You paused.
And I would go Ziyech, and I'd go Werner. And that's the side.
You've not given up on Timo. I knew you had it.
Timo, I really want to go Pulisic, but I think Timo, you've got to go Timo ahead of Pulisic in a minute, because he's just, I just don't get what's going on with Pulisic. Whether it's, it's not his, some of it's not his fault, but he looks disillusioned. I'd be surprised if Timo and Pulisic are there next season, if I'm totally honest.
Well, we've got to be positive. It's our job to be positive.
No. The reality is, this is episode 6. I've been nice for 5. Huh?
We've got, but we've only got 9 minutes left. We're in the World Club Championship final.
I love it when you give me a bit of dose of perspective. This is how it should be. I'm on the right beat, and I've gone off. I'm not drinking.
And you're not saying anything that's like I don't respect. But we're in the World Club Championship final. No one else is. Manchester City are not. Liverpool are not. Real Madrid are not. Barcelona are not. Bayern Munich are not. Chelsea are. And whether we win or lose it, we're in it. We know 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people that are out there right now sunning themselves on a beach, in a pool, drinking beer, having cocktails, and they get to watch Chelsea in a final, in a World Club Championship final on Saturday. It's going to be win or lose, up Chelsea.
I actually think we'll get that. I actually think
together at Wembley, after you've done what you've done, like God bless you for doing what you're doing the morning of that game.
I'm running a marathon, in case anyone doesn't know.
Massive respect to you for doing it.
Yeah. I've raised 1,500 quid for Macmillan. Cancer is the ultimate winner.
We need to double that. We need to double that.
Cancer is the ultimate winner. Look, I honestly think I absolutely respect that. It was just today when I watched a barrage of the fact that we capitulated in 45 minutes yesterday and almost said to them, now I get us being a bit leggy, it's a trip, but it's a change of climate. I get all that, but we're off the back of a week off, and that wears a bit thin, really, because eventually they've had a bit of a break and there's personnel and there's enough players, So to be honest with you, what actually happened is Chelsea took their foot off the pedal, they got a bit more confidence, and then we did everything that all good football sides, any football sides do. They shit themselves and they get deeper and deeper, and then I hope the goalie can bail them out. That's what happened. But it's happened a lot.
Happened a lot. But like I said, the more this
and we didn't put a glove on City, did we, when we went to their place?
No, but like I said at the time, we had a game plan. We're restricted with the players that we could play. Well, actually, no, he didn't play players. He had left someone.
It's bonkers. Well, that's the other thing. All right, this is a good question.
He could and should have made that harder for their goalkeeper. He was through on goal, 20 yards out, and he tried to bend it around him. The goalkeeper read it and saved it. If he'd have gone along the floor low, there's every chance that rolls into the net. We're 1-up. If we win that game 1-0 playing the way we did, nobody would have spoken about the performance, only the result. Because the game that we won 2-1 there, where Alonso scuffed one in pre-Champions League final, we were gash in the first half. Aguero missed a penalty to make it 2-0 on half-time. Had he done that, we lose that game. We didn't. The headlines are after the game, Tuchel beats Guardiola every time he plays. Football is about fine margins.
Mm.
And at the moment, we're not scoring enough goals.
No, I mean, as I said earlier in the season, and I was quite vocal on about it. I think at the time everyone was going, "Oh, you need people to create them," and I hate all that. But the reality is, goals bail out football teams. The reality is, everyone. I don't know why everyone thinks this, and whoever watches football now, they think it's always set up by someone. Actually, centre forwards make their own luck. They make their own chances. They chew out a chance. Of course they do. They drop the shoulder. They have intelligent movement that makes it look like it's a really good pass. Sometimes it's the movement as a centre forward. For me, Jimmy, who was speaking last night on TV, is more than qualified to talk about this, mentioned his limited movement. And for me, movement at the top level as a centre forward isn't sophisticated enough from Lukaku. He's not confident. At Inter, I watched all his goals back. I watched every single one just to see I understood it. Obviously, he had the mate he played off to him, number 10.
Good player.
He was good. They were great players. But a lot of Lukaku's goal came in from the channels. He run the channel. Look, forget that. The defensives were playing high lines. It was just a different football. Here, you got real strong, burly defenders who absolutely love the battle and the fight. And he will know that. And he's gone a little bit for me. He's gone a bit Man United, Lukaku.
Yeah.
He looks a bit heavy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I'm hoping that hoping that the heat does him a bit of good. Get swimming, sweat a bit off.
Well, he does look a bit heavy. And look, it doesn't help like anything, but like you would know as watching as much football as you've done over the years, he hasn't helped himself. But the reality is, if you don't go talking to the media, then no one's really giving you a hard time at the moment. The reason why you end up saying that in the media, now people are on, now they're having a look.
Yeah, he's not helped himself.
You brought it on yourself. So, right, predictions. We've got 5 minutes left. I want to go through. I want a couple of things. I want a side for the final quickly. Who plays?
I think he'll go exactly the same.
What, from the start? Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I think he does. I think he starts Jorginho. In my head,
I think he starts Kante.
He got to play.
Then you got to rest Kovacic. Oh, don't want to do that.
You can't read it. There's no way I would have thought Mason Mount wouldn't play, but he's not played him. So I don't see any reason for it. He'll look at the first half versus the second half. We were more effective in the first half. So for me, I wouldn't surprise me.
I love that. And a prediction for the game?
We'll struggle in the first 20 minutes, get into the game, take the lead, go 1-0, it'll go extra time, and then I'm tossing a coin. No idea.
Wow, you think it's tight? Okay, yeah. That's good. And then obviously we will be back to discuss the biggest game in terms of someone who, if you want to be world champions, you got to win this. So this is the pinnacle of football, apparently, even though it's on E4. So it's really strange. It's at a strange time. Where are you going to watch it?
I'm going to go up to Fulham, up to Chelsea.
Oh, you are going?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
You're not?
I'm definitely not, mate. I'm, this is not interesting, but I'm off the booze now. I'm a week away from I'm a week away or 2 weeks away from running.
You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing.
I'm doing the right thing. It will go wrong. I spent £160 last week at Plymouth.
Did you?
Yeah, on 8 different meals, 11 different variations of pints, and gin, wine, outrageous. I came in, I had a bottle of wine. I went and bought a £20 bottle of wine from M&S on the way home. Who do I think I am? Like, it's ridiculous. I didn't even enjoy it. I threw it away, I think.
So West End.
Yeah, I know. It's so West Ham. I am West Ham. I'm West Ham. Yeah, it used to be the West Ham. Used to be the best stand back in the day. The benches were
still is the best stand.
It's a good view, but it was poor. But mind you, to be honest with you, if you needed to have a nap, you could have had it at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. It was quiet in places, unless you were in the Plymouth end.
Do you know what? I thought it was all right. Even my dad said afterwards. My dad hasn't been for a few years and loved it. My dad said, "Oh, I miss the noise. I miss it. I miss it so much."
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're going to football with your dad. That's what it's all about. And I want to just a quick shout out to all those first timers taking their son or daughter, or they're going with a new a family member or a friend or a girlfriend. Absolutely fantastic to go to the cup and enjoy football, because that's what FA Cup's about. What a barnstormer Luton away is?
Oh, have you seen how you get into the away end?
Yeah, it's in. Well, I've been to long story. I've been to Luton a couple of times, not to see Chelsea. I had to see Luton because years ago I knew a guy who, and I've been. It's in the ground. It's in the houses.
Yeah, you go through someone's garden. It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
1800
And
tickets, praying. I'm
oh,
praying.
the allocation is
on.
they're literally gold dust.
Come on.
1800 the allocation.
Yeah, 1800.
So,
praying.
look, I personally think that after all that negativity, you in your charismatic way has turned me round. I'm feeling more positive. I'm feeling the energy. I'm having a moan for no reason. I apologise after 6 weeks. Finally, I've cracked. I'm going to go back to normal tomorrow, have a reset. I think we get the job done. I think actually the funny thing is, if they're a Brazilian side with no end product, it could be quite funny because we're an English side with no end product. So we could end up with 50% possession, both of us, 720 passes sideways, and a ball draw 0-0. So let's hope Lukaku just gets pissed off and lashes in one from 25.
Get angry, Rom. Come on.
I'd absolutely love to win that. It'd be fantastic. We got bigger fish to fry, bigger games to come as well after this. This is massive, but it's absolutely so important to try and get some momentum. That's all I'm talking about. I just want to see the good days back. I don't care if we're not winning. I just want to see us winning 3-2, 4-2, 4-1. I don't want to see us looking like we're running out of options with half an hour to go in a football match and then thinking, oh, we'll rely on a keeper to do a good job.
No, you've spoken so much. I'm just going to agree with everything you've said and say.
Well, I mean, you haven't done for 43 minutes. So Law of Averages says that I'd wear you down eventually. That's my personality. It's a battle. It's a war of attrition. I knew I'd get there in the end. Look at the badges. Look at the shirts. Look at that club. We're so privileged. Scotty, it's been a pleasure. Episode 7 next week. Going to be live. And we will be Club World Champions.
Champions of the world. Chelsea.
All the best to you. Take care. Up the Blues. Bye.
P.S. Tottenham get battered.
Hey, they certainly do by Southampton. Bye.